Welcome back, everyone. We'll start in 5 minutes. Thank you. There are still people joining. We'll wait for them to join. If you have any questions from the morning session, please let me know. We will start the discussion in a minute. If you have any questions, please let me know. Homology model typically won't have missing side chains. You don't have to worry about it. Depends again on what your template is going to be for that. But typically, once you get the structure, if you have a good template, it won't have any missing side chains. Okay, let us continue with the session. We have waited enough long. So we're going to discuss the remaining aspects related to token calculations. So let me share my screen again. I hope all of you can see it. Can anyone confirm? Yes, thank you. Right, so we have three more things to cover. We have to define the binding pocket for the docking calculation. Then we have to prepare the ligands, and then we have to do the docking also. I still see people are joining, so I'll just wait for 1 2 minutes more because I still see some people. All right, yeah, let's continue. So if you see my screen, I have the output of protein preparation. To load the output, you can see it says 6P2Q prepared here. We have to click on the circle in front of this name. So if I click on the circle here, it's going to show me the prepared structure, right? Just click on the circle in front of this. And anything we're going to do right now will be on the prepared structure. So if I look at the output of this prepared protein, if I zoom into the molecule, you can see that for now, in addition to the blue, red, and gray lines, you also have some white lines. These white lines indicate your hydrogen atoms that have been added to the structure. So I put my cursor on the white line here, you can see it says H for hydrogen. Okay, so the protein preparation is done. And now we are going to look at the next step, which is defining the binding pocket of the protein. So this stage, for example, if I look at this protein, I have a, let me show the ribbon form for it. So if I look at this protein and there is a ligand bound to it in this area. So I can see where the binding pocket is, like this binding here. While I can visualize or tell the software that I want to use this binding pocket. So I have to, there's a step called receptor regeneration, which when we run, it will, we'll have an option to define where the binding pocket should be, and we'll do that next. So to do this, make sure all of you have the circle loaded for the prepared protein. Then you go to preset option here. So next to style, you have a preset button. And in preset, you click on the first option called apply default custom preset. This will automatically zoom into your binding pocket and show you the ligand in more detail. I'll repeat again. Once you have the output from prepared protein, click on the circle in front of it. Then you go to preset here and click on apply default custom preset. So it's going to load this particular molecule. It's going to zoom into the binding pocket. So always keep in mind that the preset apply default custom preset option will always zoom into your ligand in your workspace. So now I have this particular view. I'm going to go to the task button on the top right. So as of now, just do this actually. Load the prepared protein and then go to presets and click on apply. Oh my God, people are still joining. Apply default custom preset. Just do this. It's going to zoom into your ligand, the binding pocket. Once you have this view, just let me know. If anyone has difficulty doing this, let us know so I can help you out with that particular thing. I'll wait for 1 more minute because I still see people joining in. So if you have done this, preset apply default custom preset, well and good. If you're not able to do this, please let me know so I can help you how to do it. So all you have to do is just click on the step in front of the prepared protein, go to preset, click on apply default custom preset. Once you have done this, then there's a, in the top right, you have button named tasks, right? On the top right of the screen. And in tasks, if you go to browse, you'll see that there are so many different kind of tasks that you can perform. And for example, if you want to do like something similar to protein preparation, if you click on this protein preparation refinement option, you'll see that there are so many tools within that particular section. So similarly, if you go to other tasks also, like for example, structure analysis, you will see that there are plenty of tools for analyzing the structures also. So there are so many things here um, which will be difficult to go through in a given workshop for 2 days. For example, if you have to show all of these things, you have to spend like 3 weeks going from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The idea of the workshop is to get you used to the basic concepts for molecular modeling. And then when you're working on your own projects, and if you have any difficulties, if you want to explore some new options here and there, you can drop an email to us and we'll take care of your queries through a Zoom call or maybe by email itself, depending on the kind of query you want to get. So you can try to do so many different things with the software: classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, screening of molecules, ligand-based, receptor-based. You can optimize lead molecules. You can ideate or create new molecules here. You can do QSAR modeling. You can try to design protein therapeutics. You can also design materials and stuff. All of these are possible with the software. You can even calculate ADME molecular properties also. But for now, for the workshop, our focus is on docking today and MD simulation tomorrow. So for docking, as I told you, Glide is the tool that is important for us. So once you click on the task button, go to browse, and then you go to Glide on the left. Click on the Glide option. Then you'll have a tool called receptor grid generation. All of you have to open this panel called receptor grid generation. So task, browse, receptor grid generation. Try to open that panel, and we are going to define the binding pocket for us through this particular panel. So once you open this particular panel, you can see the first option it says is define receptor. And below that, it says if the structure in the workspace is a receptor plus a ligand. So I have receptor, the protein, and a ligand. You must identify the ligand molecule so it can be excluded from the grid generation. So in this case, if I want to dock my own molecules into the protein binding pocket, I have to first remove this molecule that is bound already. So it says here, if the structure in the workspace receptor plus ligand, you must identify the ligand so it will be excluded or removed from the regeneration. So to identify the ligand, I'm going to click on any atom of the ligand. And I click on that, it's going to select all the atoms of the ligand. You can see they're all highlighted in three-colored cubes. And if I zoom out, you will see a pink box around that region. I'll repeat again. Once I have the prepared protein, I'll use the preset apply default custom preset option to zoom into the ligand in the protein. Then I go to task, browse, glide, receptor regeneration. Once the panel pops up, I'm going to click on any atom of the ligand. And if I zoom out by clicking on this button with the 4 arrows, it's going to show you a pink box around this particular binding pocket. And that pink box is the binding pocket that we are going to dock our molecules into. And even though this has a ligand bound to it, when I click on this run button in the panel of regeneration, it will remove the ligand and prepare the grid only for the protein so that when I dock my own molecules, the ligand is not, the current ligand won't clash with it. It's completely removed, so I can just dock my ligands over there. So I'm going to give a job name for this calculation. Nothing else to do here. Once you open the panel, you can do these things, and I click on the job settings and change this local host to compute CPU and click on run. This will take like 1 minute to run the calculation. If you're not able to do it, like if it is running, you can see the status here on the top right. Will say either running or complete, something like that. If it failed for some reason, please let me know. Yeah, if the speed is slow, it's because the internet is slow. So try to fix the internet first. And I'm typing the instructions in the chat box for all of these things. So try to follow instructions if you're not able to see what I'm doing on the cloud here. Rakesh, can you share your screen? So once the receptor grid generation panel opens, click on any atom of the ligand so that the ligand will be removed automatically and the grid is prepared for the protein only. Give a job name, change job settings to uh, close this panel. I want to see what you have. Okay, the protein is prepared. That is fine. Click on any atom of the ligand. Click in the workspace somewhere. Open the panel for grid generation. It's already open. Just click any atom of the ligand. Oh, okay. Go back to the panel for grid generation. It's on the bottom. You minimize the panel for grid generation. Go to the bottom of your screen. The last option, no, there, even below that, even below that. No, even below that, you'll see, yeah, there, receptor generation is be there. Last option. Not there, go to the right side end. Keep going, there. Yeah, click on that. No, not that, to the one to the left of it. The one to the left of that. There is a receptor grid generation option. Can you see that? Or do one thing, go to task. Go to task. Go to task on the top right. Yeah, now the panel is open. Click on, there's a box over there. Click to identify the ligand. Below defined receptor, what happened? Okay, don't worry about it. Click on that option. Click that button. No, not that. The one with the first button. You change your workspace completely. You click that. It's loading, just be patient. Yeah, having a good internet is a prerequisite for the workshop. I mentioned this yesterday also. Anyone else having issues with preparing your grid? Can you share your screen again, Rakesh, if you're still having difficulties? Is the grid done for everyone? Or can you please let me know if anyone is facing issues? Dushyant, you joined late. I can't accept this. You joined at 2:15. You are supposed to join at 2 o'clock. I request all of you to be here at 2 o'clock by Shine. Nafis, can you share the screen? Yeah. So the issue of why your job is failing is because if you look at your left side, you have molecule number 5539, I think, that is loaded right now in the workspace. Slightly above. Yeah. That is not the prepared protein. You have to do the prepared protein, which is 5540. So click on the circle in front of 5540. Click on the circle in front of 5540. And now run the same calculation, you run fine. Okay, do the same things that I told you before. Yeah. For those who joined late, I'm going to repeat this for now, but make sure the next time you join on time. So what I have done is, since we started the call, I have got the output from protein preparation. I have clicked on the circle in front of my prepared protein. Once I have done this, the prepared protein will launch on the screen. Then I go to preset option, click on apply default custom preset. This will zoom into the binding pocket wherever the ligand is there in the complex. Once I have this view of the ligand clearly visible, I'll go to task here, then I go to browse, and then I go to glide. In glide, we go to receptor regeneration option. Once you open this particular panel for receptor regeneration, then it says on the top, define your receptor. If the structure in the workspace is receptor plus a ligand, you must identify the ligand molecule, certainly excluded from the regeneration, because you want to define the binding pocket for the protein. If you have a ligand bond already, then this area won't be empty at all. So you have to first remove the ligand, then that will be a binding pocket where you're going to dock other molecules. So to remove this ligand, just click on any atom of the ligand. It is going to highlight all these atoms in green colored cubes. And then once you have done that, give a job name, change the job settings, and click on run. Okay. I'll stop my screen share. Try doing this. If you have difficulties doing this, please let me know. I'll share the instructions again in the chat box. You can try to follow it from those instructions. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Whoever is not done it yet, please follow the instructions in the chat box that I shared. If anyone has difficulties doing this, please let me know. So with this, we'll be done with two aspects. We have so far prepared the protein, and we have also like defined the binding pocket. So essentially the grid junction step defines the binding pocket for this protein. So Janir, can you explain to me what it meant by that? What do you mean it's not happening and now it happened? Can you share the screen to show me what is happening? Anyone else having issues with regeneration? So there are two more things left to do for us once we have done these two things. The next thing is we have to prepare our ligands, and then we have to dock the ligands. It depends on what the proteins look like. If you have a ligand bound to them, typically it should be the same process to identify the binding pocket for those things. But if you have such issues, you can drop an email to me, CC your guide in the email if you're a student, and we can have a separate Zoom call for that. Okay? Yeah. Without looking at the proteins, I can't tell why they might be failing or something like that. I have to know what things you're working on. Yeah. Yeah, and this was a good time to announce that while this workshop is like introductory thing for the software, keep in mind that we support people throughout the year. All support is free. So if you have any issues with your work that you're facing, you can drop an email to help@stranger.com. And please do that. And if anything happens, it's a bit more complicated query. we tend to jump in and try to help it. So the help team is there to help you with all your queries. So always try to email help if you have any jobs failing here and there. Or if you have some scientific query, you're not sure exactly what to do in those scenarios, you can directly email me also. Okay. I'll send those instructions later in the email as to what to do if you face any issues with the projects. All right. All right. So let me share my screen again. Now we're going to go to the next task. I hope people who joined late were able to prepare the grid by now with the instructions in the chat box. If you still need help, I can wait for 2 more minutes, or I can show it to you how to do it on your screens. We are on time for the schedule, so please, if you have difficulties in regeneration, please let me know, because if you don't have a good grid, you can't do the docking later. All right, see that no more queries are there. So let me continue with the session. So now we have done these two things. We have prepared the protein and we have also prepared the grid. For the grid, you won't get any output on the left side. All it says is the job is completed, nothing else. So if you go to jobs here, it just says it's completed. Okay. If you see something like failed or something like, please let me know, because that means it's not done correctly and we have to help you out with that particular issue. But let's say your job is done and you have a prepared grid, grid generated, then we can go for the ligand preparation. So for proteins, you have this PDB, which is very good repository for the molecules. For small molecules, there are other libraries available. For example, you can go to PubChem, which is very commonly used library. So if you go to PubChem, you can just search for any molecule of your interest. So let me just search for aspirin. And it's going to take me to this entry. You have so many of the hits available for you from this thing, and click on the first option here. And it will take me to a place where I can download the 2D structure, all 3D structure, and try to import into the software. I'll show you how to import structures later, but keep in mind that there's one good repository from where you can try to download these molecules. And you also get this milestone representation for the molecules. So these are like unique sequence strings that indicate a given molecule. And you also use this smile string also to import your molecule into the software. You can either download the structure 2D, 3D format, or you can use a smile string to load it into the software as well. Similar to, in addition to PubChem, you also have something called Molport. Right? You can just search for Molport here and click on this first thing that you get. This Molport has 5 million compounds that you can download, the entire database, and you can screen it. And if any molecule in this database is found to be working for your protein, then you can reach out to Molport to purchase the molecule from them. Either they'll send you the molecule itself, or they'll send you the synthesis kit for the molecule. And once you have it, you can do the synthesis yourself, or you can try to like just use the molecule that they give. But this database is free to download. They only charge you for the molecule if you purchase it from them. Similar to Molport, you have something called the Acinix database, where again you have a few screening libraries, and you can download these libraries from here, screen it against your protein of interest. If anything works, you can reach out to them to procure the particular molecule of your interest. In addition to these things, you also have Chembl repository. So the advantage of Chembl is that it's not just a library of small molecules. It also has information on what all assays have been performed against this 60,000 different protein targets. So this has a repository of 2.2 million compounds that have been biologically tested against the 60,000 proteins. And for each of these, it tells you, if you search for some of this information, you can find out what are the known molecules that have tried so far for a given protein, what are the binding affinities against a particular protein. You can get all that information from this simple interface here. So for example, if I go and search for, let's say, MDCK protein, and it shows me all these hits for MDCK, right? And let me try to take this protein kinase. And once I do that, you can see that here it lists all the bioactivities that have been reported against this particular protein. And if you go to activity-based ones, just click on this, and it will show you all the molecules that have been tested against this and what the activity was for these molecules. Okay. And it also gives you on the right side, if you go to the section on the right, I don't know how to do this in this case. There are more properties on the right here where you can also download the paper or the patent from which these molecules are listed, right? Can't figure out where the scroll option is. You should be able to go to the right somehow. Okay. But yeah, so Campbell is a very good repository for all the experiments that have been performed against given protein of your interest. Similar to Campbell, you also have something called BindingDB, where you can go and search here. So in BindingDB also, if you go here and search for the protein of your interest, I can search for maybe some other kinase here and choose the kinase of my interest. It's going to list for me all the molecules that have been tested against that particular protein of my interest. You can see the molecules, you can see the KD values for the molecules also. So before you start working on your own design of molecules, it's always good to know what people have reported so far for that particular protein. All right. So there's one good place where you can look at BindingDB and Campbell are very good repositories for such analysis as to what people have done so far for a given protein target. In addition to this, you also have something called Zinc database, which is one more common database that people often use. In Zinc, you have a repository of around 1 billion molecules. 750 million is purchasable. You also have more than that, non-purchasable ones. And if you go to substances here and go to subsets in Zinc, that also gives you repositories for different kind of small molecules, like endogenous molecules, metabolites, natural products. You can see the numbers on the right indicate how many are there in that particular data set. So you can download any of these things, and you can see that there are thousands of them in each of these repositories. So typically, it's very difficult, even though we showed you how to sketch a molecule, we showed you how to enumerate molecules. Typically, it is very difficult to sketch or enumerate. Like enumeration is still easy, but sketching like even 100 molecules is painful. So most of the time, people load these big libraries of 5 million, 10 million, or even people dock 1 billion molecules also, which I'll address tomorrow how they do it. They download database from these repositories and try to import those molecules into the software. So for this workshop, we have downloaded a set of molecules from a paper. We're going to load those molecules into the software here. So to do this, we'll go to File, Import Structures. So in the morning, there was a question as to can you load protein structures that are not in PDB? You can also do that if you have a PDB file for it. You can go to File, Import Structures, and load it. So this import structures supports lots of different file formats. You can see that it supports all these different file formats: MOL2, SDF, PDB, Smiles, Maestro format. You have so many other formats also available for you, including XYZ and stuff. But for now, we will try to load these molecules that we have kept on each of your cloud instances. So to access these input files, input ligands, I'll show you here and also type in the chat box as to where you have to go. Go to home directory first, then you go to desktop folder. Because these input molecules are not in the project yet, I have to go to some other location. Then go to data folder. Then we go to MTB workshop files, and you have file in input ligands.smi. So what you have to do right now is go to file, import structures. Once the panel opens, go to home directory. Then you go to desktop, data, MTB underscore workshop underscore files. And inside that particular folder, load the file name input underscore ligands.smi. If you have difficulty finding this file, please let me know. Just click on that file, click on open. It's going to load a set of 36 molecules onto your screen. If you have done this, tell me what are the issues with these molecules. Okay. And if you having difficulty finding the files, please let me know. If you have the molecules loaded, please tell me what is wrong with the molecules. If you haven't loaded the file yet, if you need help with that, please let me know. No hydrogen atom. Anything else is wrong with the molecules? Any other issues with the molecules besides missing hydrogen atoms? Rotate the molecule. Well, they are not aligned. That's a good observation. But you don't have to align them, right? Um, but the other problem is that they're in 2D structure, right? You don't have to align the molecules at all because docking will take care of putting them in the binding pocket for us. So don't worry about it. But for now, the two issues are that there are no hydrogen atoms and the molecule is 2D in nature. So how do I know if it's 2D in nature? I'll click on this. I'll share my screen again. So as you see here, if you look at this molecule, this is a blue colored thing. And blue, as I told you, is nitrogen atom. And nitrogen is supposed to have 3 bonds. It only has 2 right now, right? And this also has only 2 bonds. It's supposed to have a third bond here, right? That indicates to me the balance is not satisfied. And the second issue is that for these molecules, if I rotate them, you will see that at a given angle, there are no atoms in the third direction. Let me try to orient it properly. Hold on. You see this? Right now, there are no atoms in the third direction. The molecule is completely planar, so it's not in 3D. We have to convert it to 3D. It's not just for this molecule. I can click on the other molecules also. And all of these have the same issues. They either have missing valencies or they're in 2D in nature, right? If you want to load some other molecule, just click on the circle in front of it. Anytime you want to load a molecule, just click the circle in front of these molecules. Okay? Yeah. All of these are in 2D. That's why I don't see any atoms in the third direction. Yeah. I hope this is clear to you so far. And I want to point out one more distinction here. So I had to prepare all 36 molecules in one go. So there are different ways of doing this. One way is that I can go to task and go to browse and open a panel called LickPrep. So all of you do this, go to task, browse, and open the panel called LickPrep. We should prepare our ligands. You'll see something that looks like this will pop up. Task, browse, LickPrep. Once a panel opens, you can use the structures from a file. So if I load the same file that I loaded before, okay, so you can, Nafis, you can try to follow these instructions in the chat box. I'm sharing them again. You have to go to File, Import Structures. Then once the panel opens up, go to this location, home directory, desktop data, and there you have a file named inputligands.smi, and you load that file. Yeah. If you have difficulties doing this, I'll address it after this demo is over. So once I open the LickPrep panel, I can load the same file that I loaded here, and it's going to prepare all the molecules in that particular file automatically for me. So all 36 will be prepared. I don't have to prepare them each one by one. However, if I don't want to do that, I can click on this drop down for the file, and you will see there is an option called project table 36 selected. If I choose this option also, it's going to prepare all the molecules for me. So what it means for selection, if you look at the workspace navigator, for each molecule that I have in the workspace navigator, you have a row number, you have an IN column, and you have a title column. I'll repeat again. For each molecule in the workspace navigator, I have a row number, I have an IN column, and I have a title column. If the title column is in blue in color, that means these molecules are selected. So if I just choose this project table 36 selected, it's going to prepare all 36 of them in one go. And if you notice, if you don't see them in blue color, for example, if I click something accidentally, I only have one blue color here. And if I go to this particular option, it says only one selected, right? So if I want to prepare all 36 of them, I can just click on the group header, input ligands 36, and it's going to highlight all of these in blue colored title. So either you can use the file option and load the same file, or you can use the project table option and you can load it through that option also. Both of those are correct, so you can use either of them. For now, to keep things simple, I'll use the file option. I'll go to browse. I'll go to desktop, the same thing, data folder, MTB workshop files, input ligands.smi. To avoid any confusion, I'm going to use the file name here. So once the Liquid panel opens, just click on the browse button and then go to the same thing, home directory, desktop data, empty workshop files, and load the input ligands.smi. Once this is done, then you can apply a filter criteria to prepare only those molecules that satisfy your criteria, so that it only prepares those molecules that are okay with this criteria. So if you want to create one, click on the create button, and you can see they can filter molecules based on molecular formula, molecular weight, number of rings, number of chiral centers, so on and so forth. If you want more control on this, you can also go to functional group counts tab, and you can filter molecules based on element, boron, bromine, carbon, chlorine, all of that stuff. And if you scroll down further by taking this option here, you can see you can filter based on different type of groups also, charged amines, amidines, clonal groups. And if you keep going, you can see that you have acceptor groups, aliphatic groups, carbons, and other stuff. So you can filter or prepare only those molecules that satisfy these conditions for you. These are useful when you're working with lakhs and lakhs of molecules. But right now we only have 36 molecules, so we don't really have to apply a filter because the job is very fast to run these calculations. So I'll click on cancel. I'm not applying any filter here, but I showed you how you can apply your own filter by clicking on the create option. So we're not doing any filter here. All I have done so far is I just gave the input ligands.smi file that we had done before. Then you can see the maximum ligand size is 500 atoms. Most small molecules or ligands will have 30 to 40 atoms, maybe 50 atoms. 500 is a very big number. So typically, if your molecule is bigger than that, docking maybe not the right approach. So you'll have to figure out some other things to do. Then you have something called the force field. So here, the default option is OPLS4. Always use a default option. What the force field does is, when you convert your molecule from 2D to 3D, it has to preserve the geometry of the 3D molecule. You can't have like some random bond length, some random angle for the molecules and stuff like that. So force field has a parameters that tells that if I have a carbon-carbon single bond, it's supposed to have so-and-so length. If I have a carbon-carbon double bond, it's supposed to have so-and-so length. If I have a carbon-carbon triple bond, it's supposed to have so-and-so length. If I have carbon-nitrogen bond, what is length going to be depending on the bond type. So all that information is present in the force field. So when your molecule becomes a 3D molecule, it takes care of making sure that your geometry is very well preserved for that molecule. So this force field OPLS4 is very robust for doing these things. And that is what is recommended here. You also have one more, which is 2005. That's an older one. This is OPL score is much more robust. We'll try to use that. Once you have done these things, then you have a section called ionization. In the ionization section, you can either do not change the ionization, so it will keep it as it is, as the input that you gave. So if your input has a charged state, it's going to keep it as charged. If your input has a neutral one, it's going to keep it as neutral. If you want to neutralize the molecules, you can do this. So if you have a positive charge group, it's going to remove the hydrogen atom on that to make it neutral. If you have a negative charge group, it's going to add hydrogen atom to it to make it neutral. So neutralize is going to make sure overall charge of the molecule is 0. Then you have an option called generate possible states at pH 7 plus or minus 2. This will generate all possible protection states for your molecule at that pH range. So remember, in the protein depletion panel, we set the pH 7.4. If you change the pH over there to some 5 or 4 or something like that, make sure you change the pH here also, because the protein and the ligand have to exist at the same pH conditions. Since I said 7.4 over there, I'm going to use 7 plus or minus 2 here. It should not make a big difference if I change 7 or 7.4. We can keep it 7.4 if you're interested. So in this case, it uses a tool called Epic Classic to identify what should be the right charge on the molecules at that pH range. You also have a method called ionizer. This is not recommended. We recommend using Epic Classic or Epic. This is a machine learning based approach, which can be faster. So you can use either Epic Classic or Epic. Doesn't really matter, but don't use ionizer option here. So in this case, it's going to generate all possible charge states in a molecule at this pH range. And this is being done for the molecule in free solution in water. The molecule will prefer a different charge state in the complex. We don't know that yet. We'll know it only after docking which charge state it prefers. Right now, all we're trying to calculate is for these molecules, what is the preferred charge state in solution or in aqueous buffer, aqueous water. For these set of molecules, I know that you might get more than one different charge state. So to keep it simple, for the workshop, and only for the sake of the workshop, I'm going to keep this range as 7 plus or minus 0. Okay, so make sure to change this number from plus or minus 2 to plus or minus 0 for the workshop. When you're working on your own projects, make sure you keep the default options as it is. Then you have an option called generate tautomers here. If you select this box, it's going to generate all tautomers for your molecule. If they are possible tautomers, it's going to identify them and it's going to generate them for you. Then you have an option called stereoisomers. And you can see there's a box around this section here. So these options below it are only for the stereoisomers. So you can see here that it's going to generate at most 32 stereoisomers per ligand. If I have one chiral center, I can have 2 stereoisomers, one R form, one S form. If you have 2 chiral centers, I'm going to have 4 stereoisomers. If I have 3 chiral centers, I can have 8 stereoisomers. If I have 4 chiral centers, I can have 16 stereoisomers. If I have 5 chiral centers, I can have 32. So it's going to cap at most 32 per ligand. But if you want to work with something more complicated than this, you can increase it to 64 or 128, whatever you want to do. Keep in mind that from a synthesis perspective, trying to isolate one particular stereoisomer out of this 32 is very complicated. Most drug molecules typically have 1 or maybe 2 stereocenters, two chiral centers, not more than that. So 32 is already a very high number. You don't really need to go beyond that. But if you want to do such so many generations, you can try to retain the specific chiralities and vary other chiral centers. So if your input geometry already has some chirality defined for it, it's going to keep it as it is and vary other chiral centers. Or you can determine all possible chiralities from 3D structures or generate all combinations. Luckily for these molecules, there are 36 of them, there is no chiral center. I'm going to get only one output for each of these molecules. No stereoisomers, because there is no chiral center in those molecules. But if you have a chiral center, you can have multiple outputs also for the same molecule. The reason why we limited at 32 is because it's difficult to synthesize one stereoisomer. You always get a mixture of it, and you want to have a pure form of your molecule in a particular stereochemistry. If you're a very good synthetic chemist, you can try to increase it to a bigger number, but typically 32 is a very good number. So in this entire panel, I have loaded the molecules to be prepared. I have changed the range to plus or minus zero. That's it. Nothing else I have done. I'm going to give a job name here, and I'm going to go to job settings, change this local host to compute CPU, and change this to 6 processors and 6 subjobs, and click on run. The reason why we're doing this thing is that the local host has only 8 CPUs. And in the workshop right now, we have 70 participants in the workshop. If 70 of us use 8 CPUs, it's going to take a long time for the calculation. So for the workshop only, we have placed this extra computing resources that all of us are using right now to run our calculations at the same time. So that we don't have to keep waiting for each job to complete. That's the reason why I changed the compute CPU for the workshop. When you're working on your own machines, you may not see this option here. Just use localhost on your own machines. But for now, for the workshop, use the compute CPU for any panel and click on run. So in this case, I also increase the number of processors to 6 and the number of subjobs to 6. So the job runs quicker than giving one processor. So my lit prep is running, and I can check the status for it here. It says waiting as of now. Then you'll go to running, then you'll go to completed. And while it is doing that, let me just collapse this particular input ligand section so that once the preparation is done, I'll get the output here for the prepared ligands. If you have any questions on lit prep, please let me know. It shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 minutes for it to prepare. So try doing
Why,
it
why did we create 6 subjobs here?
so that so you have 36 molecules. All 6 of them 36 will be split into 6 subjobs. So you have 6 molecules per subjob. And each subjob will go to each processor. It's just to parallelize the calculation, like to make it more faster, nothing else. So you have 6 processors. You can either run one molecule across 6 processors, or you can run like split the data set into 6 subjobs so that you can have 6 molecules each running on one processor each, something like that. Okay. Yeah. If you need help with preparing the ligands, please let me know. So we're done with 3 things. We have prepared our protein. We have defined the binding pocket. And now we are prepared the ligands also. The next step is to do docking itself, which is the simplest of all of these things. For ionization, always use that generate all possible states at a given pH range. And once you get that output, when you go for docking, then you figure out which charge state the molecule prefers, whether the neutral one or the charged one. Okay, because the molecule, when it binds to the protein, can have different preferences compared to when it's in free solution. In the state of liquid prep, you have to account for all possibilities. Only when you go for docking, then you remove something that is not feasible. My job is completed. I'll wait for 2 or 3 minutes more for your jobs to complete. If you have any questions, then please let me know. So if you don't change the range from plus or minus 2 to plus or minus 0 for this set of molecules, you'll end up with, I think, 92 or 93 molecules as output. It becomes difficult to analyze them later. So for the workshop, I have removed that range. So you get only like one molecule as output for each input molecule. I'll wait for 2 more minutes and I'll explain to you how to interpret the LibPrep output. If you need help with this, please let me know. One more thing I want to point out is that when I mentioned those databases, those are a very small subset of the databases. There are many other databases that people have created for various purposes. You can look at those also. Just search online. If you have good searching skills in Google, you should be able to find the database of your interest easily. So let me share my screen and we look at the output of LibPrep. So you can see that on the left side, I have this thing called LibPrep for 6p2q out. That's the output of my ligand preparation. And if you click on the circle in front of these molecules, you'll see them in 3D. You can see that now I have these white lines that appear, which fixes the valency issues that we observed before. And if I rotate this molecule, you can see that there are atoms in the third direction as well, right? It's not a planar molecule. Okay. So you can do these things. Our molecules are prepared. Click on the circle next to each one of them. And you'll see that they're all in 3D right now with the right valencies. Just do this. I'll give you a minute to look at the structures one by one. Click on the circle in front of them to load this ligand molecules and check if they are in 3D or not. Yeah. So once you have done these things, I'll show you one more option here. So I have this molecules that are like prepared molecules, LibPrep, whatever genre I gave. Then I also have molecules that are not prepared. So input ligands is also there, right? So what I will do is I will load one prepared molecule and I'll also go to the unprepared molecules and load one unprepared molecule. So to load multiple molecules at one go, hold the control key on your keyboard and click on the circle in front of that molecule. So I'll show you again. You can see there's a blue circle here in front of the unprepared molecule. And I also have a blue circle in front of the prepared molecule. How did I do this? Hold the control key on the keyboard and click on the circle. So you can do this. You can load multiple molecules like this, right? So do this for one prepared and one unprepared. Load them both in the workspace. You can see that now I have these two. I have one unprepared and one prepared molecule. Then on the bottom right, you have plus button. Click on the plus button on the bottom right. Then you click on tile option. So once you do this, you will see both of them side by side. I'll repeat again. Once you loaded both the molecules by clicking on the blue circle in front of them, then you go to plus on the bottom right. Then you click on the tile by option. Once you do this, you'll see both the molecules next to each other. And you can control both of, you can look at them side by side next to each other. You can see the unprepared one and the prepared one next to each other. You can do this for any set of molecules as long as in the workspace. So try doing this first for two molecules. Load a prepared ligand, any one of them. Load an unprepared ligand. Use the control key on the keyboard to load both molecules. And then once you have done this, go to the plus option on the bottom right. Then click on tile by option. So you'll see both of them next to each other, and you can rotate the molecules, and you can see like the difference between the prepared and unprepared structure. If you load more molecules, automatically the tile will be split. So I can load like 3, 4, 5, 6 molecules also. You can see that it's adjusting the view and control all of them in one go. Okay. So it's all about how many you have in the workspace. For all the things in the workspace, it's going to go to make them all in tile view. Now I have 8 molecules and I can see all of them in one single place. I have one unprepared one, the rest of them are prepared molecules. Let me know if you have any issues doing this. Once you have looked at this tile option, make sure you click on the plus button and remove the tile. So I don't want to see the tile anymore. Okay. I just wanted to show you this thing. If you're interested, you can look at them next to each other also, if you're interested. Once you're done with the tile thing, go to plus and click on the tile again so that it gets, it does not get highlighted anymore and you'll back to the normal view. Done. Once you have done this, on the top right, you can see that there's a task button, job button, table button. Go to the table button. You will see that it shows you a project table that looks like this. And in the project table, all the molecules that you have in your project are shown here. You can see the same row number, IN, title, all of these things. And you also have many other properties that are being mentioned here. I'll repeat again. Once you have done with the tile option, click on the table option. And you can see in this case that you have the project table where all the molecules that you have worked on so far are listed here. And if I go to the output for ligand preparation, prepared ligands output, and on the bottom you have scroll bar. If you drag it to the right, you will see different properties for these things. So you can look at the properties like total Q, which indicates the charge on these molecules after preparation, the penalty for ionization, the state penalty, which is usually similar to this itself, and then you have the tautomere probability. So you can see that for some molecules at that pH range, it is preferred to have a +1 charge. Okay. So you can check these things. It has a charge of absolute charge of +1. You can also have a -1 charge as well, but in this case, it just tells you that what is charge magnitude, not the charge direction, minus or plus. So you can get this information from the table option. If you go to on the bottom, you just scroll to the right, you will see the total Q section, and this will be reported for only the prepared ligands, either charge 0 or 1, and you have these penalties and stuff. Okay. So be aware that as of now, since we only set the range to ±0, we only get one output per molecule. Typically, if I had done the default options, I'll get 2 or 3 outputs for each molecule. There might be multiple 467 ending with 467 here, multiple ones with 943. Some of them will be neutral, some will be charged. So you get all of those things. Yeah. So once you have done the ligand preparation, as I told you, the last step is for docking itself. I'll wait for 1 more minute for you to go through the table. Once you're done with it, we'll go for the docking part. This is the easiest part out of all these things. Once you've prepared your protein, define the binding pocket, prepare your ligands, docking will take you like just like 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that, to set up the calculation. Any questions on lit prep before I go for that? Okay. So once this is done, for docking, go to task, then you go to browse, then you go to Glide. As I told you, Glide has all the modules for docking related stuff. In Glide, you have a tool called ligand docking. So you did previously receptor generation. Now we will go for ligand docking, the second option. Just click on ligand docking. Once you have the panel loaded for ligand docking, it asks you for a receptor grid. Now the grid file, we had done the generation before. We had to load the grid file. So to do this, click on the browse button, the first browse button. It will take you to your working directory. So if you define this directory before, you can see that all of these, for each job that you ran, like we did enumeration of the molecules, we did regeneration, we did lick prep, we did protein prep. There's a new folder created in that name day one demo folder for me. So that is the reason why always make sure you define your directory at the beginning and you save your project so that everything is saved automatically in this working directory for you. And for loading the grid file, I'll go to this folder named Glad Grid 6P2Q. You may have a different name for this. It will say Glad Grid something else. So just click on this particular file here, folder here, and you have to load the file ending with .zip. I'll repeat again. Click on the first browse button, then go to, it will take you to a working directory. Open the folder for Glad Grid, and you'll have a zip file inside it. Just load that file. Once you have done that, then you have to mention the ligands to be docked. For ligands to be docked, you have the option to use ligands from file. Click the browse option, and you'll see there's a folder for lickprep. Open the lickprep folder, and there will be a file ending with out.magc. Out indicates output of the lickprep calculation. So out.magc file, just load that, click on open. Then give a job name, go to job settings, use compute CPU, choose 6 processors so the job runs faster, click run, and docking is done. It will take maybe like 2 or 3 minutes for this to dock all 36 molecules. Once it is done, we'll get the output, and we want to see how to interpret the output. Any questions on this ligand docking panel? I hope all of you are able to load your grid file. I hope all of you are able to load your prepared ligands. Make sure it has to be out.magz. And once you have done that, give a job name, go to job settings, and run the calculation. So the instructions are, you have to go to, 6 jobs is ideal. It will finish soon. So go to task, browse, open the panel for ligand docking. Once the panel opens, click on the first browse button, then go to Glide Grade folder, then choose the file ending with .zip. Once you have done that, click on the second browse button, then go to lickprep folder, choose the file ending with out.magc. My docking has already completed. I hope all of you have been able to launch the calculation. Then once you have done this, loaded the two files, go to, uh, give a job name, go to job settings, change to compute CPU, and then choose 6 jobs processors. I don't remember one of those two. Let me see what it was. Yeah, 6 processors, click run, and that will run your calculation. If you have any difficulties doing this, please let me know. If you need help with this, please let me know. If you're able to run the calculation, I just want to share a few things in the ligand docking panel. So we have run the calculation, but I'll show you a few more options that might be beneficial for you sometimes. So in the ligand docking panel, if you go to settings tab, so you have the ligands tab, then you have the settings tab. So in the settings tab, you can see that by default, the ligand sampling is flexible. In the case of docking, keep in mind that the protein, once you prepare the grid and define the pocket, it's going to keep the protein fixed. The protein is not flexible at all. The ligand is flexible. It's going to figure out what is the right orientation of the molecule in terms of shape, complementarity in the binding pocket, and it's going to tell you the score also for the molecule eventually once it's done the docking calculation. Sometimes people also want to keep the same pose of the molecule, keep it rigid, and calculate the docking values. So you can do those things also by using rigid option or something else. But typically, flexible is the default option. So you always use flexible. If you work in macrocycles, then you have an option called sample macrocycles here that you can try to enable. That will make sure you can dock macrocycles also for your particular protein of interest. You can also see that there is an option called use RNA receptor scoring. This option is beneficial if you're docking a small molecule to RNA, but it doesn't help you if you're docking a protein to RNA or RNA to a protein. Those require different sections altogether. This is only for docking small molecules to RNA. Okay. Then you have other options like the precision mode. You have the HTVS, SP, and XP. Don't worry about these things. Default is SP. That's what we're going to use. However, there is SP peptide option here that is not highlighted right now. When you have a grid for peptide docking, then it's going to enable the SP peptide option, which will have a different protocol than the regular peptide docking. But if you're working on peptide docking, please drop an email to us first so we can tell you the things that you'll take care of before you go for that peptide docking. We won't be covering in the workshop, but you can address that through email or maybe through a Zoom call later. If you go to output tab, you can see that it's going to write out at most one pose per molecule. If you have multiple poses for a given molecule, increase the number from one to some other number. And I think these would be sufficient. I don't think you have to worry about other properties here and stuff. Yeah. And then you run the calculation and that's it, nothing else. So that's it. So mainly the settings tab will be having more functionality for you to use. Yeah. And with that, I would stop this demo. And any questions on docking part? So far, if you think about this, preparing protein, preparing ligand, preparing the grid is, and doing the docking is like quite simple. There is nothing complicated over there. In fact, if you, with experience, you can do all of these things in 5 minutes of your time. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to do all of this stuff. The main critical component, once you're done the calculations, is the analysis part. So now that we have got the results for docking, we're going to spend the next 40 minutes to 1 hour analyzing the results from the docking calculation. We'll conclude with the analysis part. It may take till 4:15. So for that, I will call upon my colleague, Dr. Abhijit Kayal, to take these sessions.
Yeah, course.
I have logged out, Abhijit. You should be able to log in right now. Let me know if it works.
Yeah, just log in. They need a break, 5 minutes, Kosik, or?
It's up. Yeah, I think we'll take a break for 5 minutes, come back with 3:20, then you go for
Yeah.
docking analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, all the participants, we have a like 5 minutes break. And
Please go ahead, Abhijit.
yeah, we can meet exactly at 3:20, right?
Yep. And don't be late.
Yeah, don't be late. Kosik, just tell me, it is already started recording, right? Or
Recording is
need to
placed, yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Recorded to the cloud. We'll show the recording at the end of today's session and tomorrow's session.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I'll drop off, Abhijit.
Okay, so shall we start? Participant, yes, no, all of you are here? Yeah, okay. So we'll start with the analysis of this docking result. And as my colleague Kosi was telling that if you practice for a little bit, this molecular docking, probably all those things starting from leak prep, docking prep, and docking, probably it will not take more than half an hour, right, to set up the entire thing. But the important part here is that how to analyze the docking result, right? So that we're going to see. So just let me know that all of you got the output. There will be, if you run successfully, there will be a output of your glide docking result, and it will be incorporated into workspace with the name that you have given, glide doc underscore SP6B2Q. So please let me know that all of you have this particular entry here, the glide output. Yes, no? Then we'll start. Please let me know all the participants that you have all seen this glide dog SP output file. Yeah. So what we'll do is that, can you see this, their icon here? The entry name in the title, there is one kind of icon it is coming. If you click that one, it will asking for view poses, right? I'll again do it. Kind of a 3 line, small line, it will come. Click that one and see the view poses. Can you do that one? I'll just do that one. And there is a one pose viewer, it will open. Please do that one. Click this icon here and it will open the, please click then view poses. And it will open this pose viewer window file here on the right side. So first thing we are going to look at the poses that we'll be getting, right? So if you do molecular docking, there will be two outputs that we'll be getting. One is that binding pose, how the ligand is sitting in the binding pocket, and then you will get the scoring function or the docking score. So first we will see the poses of this ligand in the binding pocket. We can activate also the interaction toggle button here. Let's see line here, bottom below. I'll just activate that one. Okay, so I think all those things are activated. So I'll just right click. I'll just deactivate the root and only set the ligand receptor. I'll again to activate the interaction toggle, all these non-bonded interaction, hydrogen bond, halogen bonds, you need to click this interaction toggle button. Just right click, all the contacts it will activate it. So I deactivated the good contact and make my non-covalent bond only the ligand receptor. Then you will see this kind of image here, that this is my ligand, all those are my hydrogen bonds, some halogen bonds are there. Can you guys see this one? I will again repeat. I just first did what? There is an option, it is coming. I will click here, view poses. After view pose, I'll activate the interaction toggle button. Right click, deactivate all the good class. Initially it was activated good class, and make sure that we are only having the ligand receptor option here. Right? All of you are here. I will wait for a few minutes, and if you want me to repeat, I'll again repeat. But make sure that all the settings are there. And in the glide dog output, the first entry, that will be my protein that is coming from my grid generation file, and all rest, all are my 36 ligands, right? So that is how the glide dog result will be there. First entry, it will be my protein, and all it will be the ligands that we docked. Okay. And if you are in this stage, if I go here just below the help, there is an auto option and that is activated. Can you see auto is highlighted by blue color? Just deactivate that one. Then we'll properly see. What I just did in the default, it will be activated this auto. That is a feed option auto. We don't want to do that. I'll keep the default only this view. And if I just next play the arrow key, right arrow key, then I can see all the ligands one by one. Right? If you press the right arrow key, can you see all the your protein is fixed, and I can see all the dock poses of the ligand. You need to press the right arrow. Are you guys able to do yes, no? If you stuck somewhere, let me know. I'll again repeat. But this is very critical or crucial for how to analyze the docking result. Right, so I can scroll down and I can see all the ligands one by one and how it sits in the binding pocket. Can you guys scroll down and see all the ligands, right? If you just press left arrow key, it will go again to the top, right? Now you guys need to tell me for the first compound or the first ligand, how many hydrogen bonds that you are seeing. Just give the count and tell me how many hydrogen bonds that you are seeing. So hydrogen bonds, remember, if I go to the interaction toggle, it is the yellow color, yellow dotted line. These are all my hydrogen bonds. Right, so I'll also make this all this ligand receptor. Then it will be clear. So make all these settings. I think it is got changed. So make all these interactions, pi interactions, all those interactions to the default ligand receptor. Okay. And now give me the number. How many hydrogen bonds are there for the first molecule? Yeah, one someone is saying 4. Any other number that you are seeing? So if I just rotate a little bit, right? I can see for in this case, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah, so 4 is the right count. And tell me the last one for the last compound. Go down, scroll down is that right arrow key. Go to the last compound and tell me the number of count of the hydrogen bonds. Yeah, I'm seeing not any, there's no hydrogen bond, right? So scale tells that how this also arranges the number of interactions, right? This molecules or the ligands, how they are arranged in the docking result is by the number of more interactions. Okay, and if I just select means that include, so I just remove. I am going out from the PostGIS file. Okay, I click out and I just click the control and click the protein and the ligand. So you can also see for the protein entry in the in button, there is also a pin column appear. Pin This means that your protein is always visible in the workspace. Normally it will be like this. But if I click any of the ligand, which means that your protein is always be there in the workspace, which means always included. So I just included both my protein, only this protein and the first ligand, and I can go to the ligand interaction. I'll again repeat, don't worry. So I'll just do that one. And I want to try to see that here. How many hydrogen bonds I can also count it from here. Right, so I'll again repeat in this 2D image. Include both protein and the ligand, first ligand, right? There's a ligand interaction button here. This is called favorite toolbar. This particular here. I click that one, ligand interaction, and you can see your protein and the ligand in 2D with all the interactions. Can you guys see this 2D image, ligand interaction diagram? If you have problem, let me know. To view this image, first you need to click the include the protein, include the ligand, the first ligand, go to the ligand interaction, click that one, and you will get this image. Can you guys see this image? Yes, no? Yeah.
I'm
So
getting a
from
different image.
yeah, who is having problem?
I'm having a different
Sital,
image, like I'm getting a different diagram. Yes.
you are getting different.
Diagram, not similar diagram.
Okay, so I'll just stop. Okay, it is possible to share your screen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing and you please share your screen.
I started sharing my screen. From the diagram you were getting is a slight different one.
Yeah, different means that okay, how you rotate in your
I
yeah,
have,
how you
however,
rotate in your workspace is based on that it will come like that.
okay,
So I rotated
okay,
differently and you rotated differently, okay? But you will get the same all the interactions. 4 hydrogen bonds, everything it will be same.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I think yeah, I'll just share your screen. Share my screen. Yeah. So can you see that it is synced with Freddy, Sital, right? Or all the students? This is by default it is clicked, okay? Sync with Freddy. So how you rotate in your workspace, it is synced with that your 2D diagram, so it may rotate a little bit. You can see different this picture. Okay, and there is a one settings option here. Particular, can you see scroll bar, scroll wheel or wheel kind of thing here? Click that one and make LID legend active. So if I do that one, you will be see the type of interactions with the this pink color arrow. Those are hydrogen bonds. If there is a pi pattern, it will be by red color. Right, all those it will be clearly see here. I'll again repeat. To get this number, to get this information, you need to click on this settings here, make LID legends active, and then you're able to clearly see that what type of interaction it is making. Right? Can you guys able to find the solvent exposed region from here? Solvent exposed region. I'll give a few minutes, just carefully look at this image and tell me, can you able to identify the solvent exposed region of this compound? Which means that it is kind of exposed toward the solvent, not inside the binding pocket. So Solvent exposed means that this particular solvent exposed, if there is a gray color circle, it is highlighted on here. This particular atoms or this particular regions of my molecule is exposed towards the solvent, which means that they are not kind of directly interacting with the residues, side chain of the residues. Okay, so those are solvent exposed region, right? So again, I can count the number of hydrogen bonds, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That is the most prominent interactions. And for the last compound, I can also go back to the last compound and just include the last one. And again, go to the ligand interaction, right? And again, for the last compound, there's no as such any kind of hydrogen bond interactions, right? Or halogen bonds, nothing is there. So for the first compound and for the last compound, just see this image. If you are having problem, let me know. This is very important. Before going to the docking score, you need to clearly understand that how your ligand is binding to the protein. What are the residues that are interacting? Which residues are involved in the hydrogen bonds, non-bonding interactions? That you need to understand. Right? So, yeah, if you see this, then you can close it. Now, if I ask you for the 36 compounds, just list the number of hydrogen bonds. Probably you guys can go and one by one and give me the number, right? Is that possible? So if I ask you for all the compounds, either from the ligand interaction or from the 3D, give me the number of hydrogen bond interactions, right? So manual counting, can you guys do? And how long it will take for 36 compounds? Any 5 minutes, 10 minutes, only for 36 compounds. Yeah, the question is that if I ask you for all the 36 compounds, can you tell me the number of hydrogen bonds and how long it will take? Like first compound, it is 4. Last one, there is no hydrogen bonds. And those interactions are critical for your ligand binding process. You need to know how many interactions are there for each molecule. Right? So I think for 36 compounds, probably you can take 5 minutes, right? And if I give you the 5 minutes, probably in that time, you can able to tell me the number of hydrogen bonds for the first compound, second compound, and up to 36. But if you are working with very large compound, probably maybe 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, right? It is not advisable to count one by one all those interactions. So for that, we can count the interactions, or we can also see the scoring function or the docking score. Because all these interactions, hydrogen bond, non-bonding interactions, hydrophobic interaction, all that will be counting towards the docking score. So what you need to first count the number of hydrogen bonds or some kind of interactions. So first click here to select all those entry in the glide drop panel. Select means that again title will be highlighted by this blue color. So click that one. It will be like this. Click on this glide entry. All title it will be highlighted by the blue color. All of you are here? Yes, no? Yeah. Then go to task button. I need to go to the task button and search for interaction count. I'll search here interaction count, right? So we'll get this add interaction count. go to task button and search for interaction count. You will see this panel, add interaction count. So click that one and it will open this panel. And in this panel, what it will try to calculate? It will try to calculate the number of hydrogen bonds and halogen bonds, number of contacts, number of pi interactions. Okay, so I'll again repeat for this one. I'll go to the task, search for interaction counts. You'll get this add interaction counts panel. Click that one. It will automatically select some of the properties, number of hydrogen bonds and halogen bonds, number of contacts, number of pi interactions, and then add. Right, so it will calculate. Okay, I guess there's so many entries are here. Yeah, but let's calculate. Just so. Yeah, it will take some time. Yeah, please do this calculation. I don't know why it is taking too much time here in the cloud, but it in normal software, it will just instantly calculate all those interactions. Yeah, I'll just stop here. I'm just checking why it is taking too many entries. Okay, it is also calculating for all the numerical entries. That's what I'll just delete this one. Yeah, I think it was somewhat selected. Yeah. How much the interaction hydrophilic bond is stable when then I'll come to here. So I'll click here. I'll again repeat. I'll click here. If you do any kind of other things here, like enumeration, for the time being, delete that one. It is also calculating for all these others also. So I'll go to task, add interaction counts, and add. Yeah, now it will be task. Yeah, so the question is that how much interaction of hydrophobic bond is stable when compared to the hydrogen bond? Yeah, that's a good question. So the definition of hydrogen bond is that if you have hydrogen and if you have a polar, another opposite polar residue, like oxygen, nitrogen, or fluorine, like something like that. And it is again called the electrostatic interaction between the hydrogen and oxygen or the hydrogen bonds. But as compared to the hydrophobic, hydrogen bond is more stronger. And that is why first is that you need to always calculate the number of hydrogen bonds. That will tell you that this is making some kind of stable or more stronger interaction with the protein residues. And for the hydrophobic interactions, it is not so strong as compared to the hydrogen bonds, but hydrophobic interaction should be there as in many ways, many numbers, so that can contribute a lot to the stabilize the system. Okay, so hydrophobic interaction is very important for your ligand binding process. The strength is lower as compared to the hydrogen bond, but many such hydrophobic contribution comes and make your ligand stable at the binding pocket. I just unselected there's some entry enumeration. There are 1,000 compounds were there. There's some, I think Vinod or someone showed that enumeration. So I just deleted that one and It is basically calculating for all the others. Are you guys able to calculate? Yes, no? So I'll do it. Let's go to complete. I'll do it firstly. Okay. Yeah. So mine is done. Right. So I can go to the, if it is done, I can go to the project table and I'll just, yeah. So let me know that how many you're able to listen. If I go to task and add interaction counts. So okay, so I think some people have got confused here. Do one thing. You don't need to run now. I'll just close this project. So go do all these things. Go to file, close project. Right? Do that one. If you're running, then let it run. But those who are not able to run, for those people I'm telling, go to file and close project, and we'll just load the docking file. Please do this one. Go to file, close project. I did that one. Then go to file, import structure. Right. Go to file, close project. Then go to file, import structures. You need to go to this path. First home directory, desktop, data, MTB workshop files, and open this glide dog underscore sp6b2q, that particular file. That is a docking calculation you already did and kept it there. So I'll open that file. The same file, right, what you have just calculated. I'll again repeat. Go to file, import structure, and you need to go to this path, desktop, home directory, desktop, data, MTB workshop files, and glide dog underscore sp 6b2q underscore pb.megz. Please open this file. Yeah, and Dr. G, I think you can just follow me. You just open this file, glide underscore dog. And if you open this file, then go to task, interaction counts, add interaction counts, and then add. Right, it will very fast to calculate for 37 entries. Right, done. So how many of you able to run this one? I can see Josna, yeah, Nafis, but it is too slow. Yeah, Julie, I think you have already so many entries there, so that is why it is taking time. So I think most of you have done. Now you need to see the how many number of hydrogen bonds, all those things are there. You need to go to project table. I click the project table, and you will see this kind of tree. This is called property tree. All the properties that we have calculated so far, it will be there in the project table. Okay, so first I'll just deactivate this all option here, right? And then yeah, so I'll again repeat. First it will be like this. Okay, and deactivate all here, so nothing will be there in the table. This is nothing but just kind of a Excel sheet. So first I just deactivated all the entries that were the properties in the project table. I'll expand this triangle. There's a small triangle. So I'll just expand this one, right? I need to go to the maestro. I'll again expand the maestro. And you can see here, there are some entries like aromatic hydrogen bond, bad contact, halogen bonds, hydrogen bond, it will be there. So I just click the hydrogen bond first. Okay. Okay. Can you guys see any number? Because I'm not able to see any number. It should be here in this. Something. I'll just do it again. Okay, so I forgot to, you need to add properties to selected entries. Okay, I forgot to do this one. You need to click this add properties. Okay. Yeah, now it will be okay. So when you open this panel, there's an option here, add properties. Now I can go to the project table and I'll begin. Why I'm not seeing any entry here? Just wait, I'll just check why it is not coming. I need to first, I guess I need to pin it here. Are you guys seeing any number or yeah, just so that because there's some setting change happen. Just wait. Even I'm not seeing any number. Wait. Yeah, now it's okay. Okay, so yeah, what you need to do is that as I told in this particular for the protein, okay, just quickly double click here so that the pin option it will appear here. Okay, so those who are not or there's some problem, the protein should be always there in the panel or in the workspace. So if you just quickly double click the pin option, it will come here, right? Then I'll go to task, add interaction counts, and make sure that it will be activated. Add properties to selected entries. And if I just run it now, add, it will calculate all the properties. Make sure the protein should be in your pin option mode. And I'll go to project table. Now I can see the different numbers are here. Okay. So yeah, I think we have opened the different files. So for the first case, the number of hydrogen bonds 5, second one 4, something like that. Okay, so I can activate the number of bad interaction, number of cationic interactions. Okay, see there's a salt bridge, right? You want me to repeat, or are you guys able to follow now? So the idea here is that if you have a very large number of compounds, 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, right? You can't able to see manually how many hydrogen bond it is making, halogen bonds, or all those interactions. So for that one, what you need to do, you can just click this one. Click means that make the protein always active in the workspace. Pin option, it will come. Go to task, add interaction count, and add. It will automatically calculate some important interactions, how many numbers all those interactions, right? If I go to project table, I can see that how many good contacts, bad contacts, right? So all those things need to be there in the project table. That will, you can quantify like how many the first compound, how many hydrogen bond it is making, second compound, all those quantification you can do. All right. If you are not able to see now having problem, again let me know. I'll wait for again couple of minutes. And I want to make sure that all of you can able to calculate all those different properties. Yeah, please do this calculation, and if you have a problem, let me know. Yeah, now the question is that suppose you are working in some kind of pharma company, right? Probably you know this some pharma company, Sun Pharma or Biocon or any other companies that you are working. Yeah. So who is there's some doubt here. Mumal, you are not able to see the number. My value shows 50, 52, 44. Mumal, can you share your screen? I want to check what happened there. Please share your screen. Yeah, can you? Oh, where is the? You are not able to see any number, right? Yeah, that's why I just close this one, project table. Close this one from the right side. Yeah. Oh, not that one. That is your master will close. Cancel, cancel, cancel. We are closing the entire master. Yeah, cancel it. Now go to the can you see 6B2B entry, right? Yeah, just quickly double click there. You need to quickly do. Very quickly, just double click there. Yeah. Okay, right? Now go to task and do this calculation. Task and add interaction count. Go to task. Yeah, I can see. Go to task. Yeah. Add interaction count. Yeah, add. Right? Can you see it is now populating? Yeah, good. Now you are able to see the number. Yeah. Who is Sital, right? Sital. Yeah, can you share your screen? You are seeing 52 for 52 some different number. Yeah. That is number of so okay, so you did a mistake there. Okay, so now you're you need to only go to master interface. Yeah, just minimize it, yeah, or close it, yeah. Minimize it, yeah. Now you make both the protein and the ligand pin option, right? Yeah, click that one. Exclude. Yeah, now do this calculation. Task, add interaction count, add properties to the selected entries. Yeah, add. Wait, it will come. Yeah, you stop sharing. No, I want to check that the values are coming or not. Sital, yeah. Go to project table. Just wait. It will come from 76, right? The 76 entry is the docking result. Just wait. Or I am not sure. See, I think still you have that problem, right? Now it is value is reducing. See, the problem here is that you have included all the other proteins, 6B2Q, all are included. Can you close? Yeah. Stop calculating this one. Yeah. Your 6B2Q, the first entry, all you deactivate. No, not there. From the top, the entry number 1. Go top. That is, yeah. Click, yeah. Only activate the, yeah, click on the exclude. There's an input ligand. Yeah, I think now it will be okay. You need to only activate the only the protein and the docking result. Can you go to project table now? Go to project table. Yeah, now it is correct. Okay. Yeah. Now the main question is that, yeah, you can stop here. Yeah. Suppose you are working in some big pharma companies. Okay. And probably after, I don't know, I think some of you are already PhD student. After 3-4 years, when you'll be joining some company or maybe you'll go for a postdoc, and if you're still in this drug design or computational drug design field, this docking calculation you'll be doing day in and day out, either in industry or in academia. If you are in the drug design kind of work, R&D work, the docking, molecular dynamics simulation you'll be doing day in and day out. Then suppose you are getting this result. Okay, I have 36 compounds. I want to go to the next step. Either I can go to the experiment or I can go to the molecular dynamics or other advanced calculation. And when you be industry, you will not be doing for 36, right? You will be doing for lakhs of compounds, 50 lakhs, 1 crore of compounds. They are going to identify that which compound you can take and go for the next step for more advanced kind of calculation. As you can see, docking is very fast. Per compound, it will take 1 to 10 seconds, right? For a standard precision. So it is very fast calculation. And with this, like only compounds, you need to identify that which compounds you can take and go forward for the next set of more advanced calculation. And for that one, how you can select those compounds, right? In this case, I have 36 compounds, and suppose my guide comes and asks me that, okay, you are having these 36 compounds. Which compound you can go for molecular dynamics simulation, right? So that is one of obvious question that you need to face. For that one approach is that you calculate this kind of different kind of interactions, right? Obviously, more interactions means that your molecule will be more stable. Currently, this first compound have number of hydrogen bond 5, halogen bond 1, good number of good interaction 319, right? Bad is 4, something like that. Or we can also check the scoring function or the docking score, right? So in the project table, we have also the glide entry here. So I'll just deactivate this all these options for the time being, and I'll just activate only the glide option here. glide, I'll expand it. And for the time being, I just click the primary option. Right? Can you guys do that one? In the project table, there is also one entry called glide. And glide, there's a primary and secondary. We will see secondary later. But first check the primary here. I'll click it and I'll get this 3 different docking score. Okay. Now remember that all these interactions that like I just first activate the maybe the hydrogen bonds, right? The first compound have the known number of hydrogen bonds, also the number of aromatic hydrogen bonds. I don't know. Yeah, 1. All these are contributing to stabilize the ligand in the binding pocket, and that is reflecting in my more number of positive interactions, means more negative in the docking score, and more negative means that more stable, right? That is the idea. So for the first compound, I am seeing the docking score is minus 11.2, right? And for the last compound, which is minus 6, right? For the second compound, minus 10, minus 10 point something, something like that. Okay. Also, there is another score, glide E model and glide G score. Okay, so there are 3 docking score you will get when you run the glide docking. You will get 3 different docking score or the scoring function. One is in docking score, glide E model, and glide G score. But you can see that glide G score and glide this docking score, they are basically same thing, right? Their values are exactly same here, but there is some difference. Those who are interested, please write it to me or Kaushik or Vinod, who will explain what is the difference between the docking score and the glide G score. But at the end, they represent the same thing. Okay, their values are now in the same, exactly same. But for a glide E model, you can see that the first one is minus 98, second one is minus 101. And how these molecules are arranged is based on the docking score. More negative, that is the first one, then the second one, something like that. Yeah, I think post is already posted. Yeah. Right. So in the case of glide E model, how you can explain this one? And if I go to the Maestro, you don't need to do that. This one, I'm just telling. If I go to the ligand docking, yeah, Kaushik already explained this one. And the output, the default option is that 1 here, right? Out at most 1 poses per ligand. So if I have 36 ligands, I will get 36 output. So each ligand will have a single output. But I can give like 10 different output or 20. Right? So each ligand will have 20 different poses. If I make changes by default 1 to 20. And to prioritize between those 20 poses for the same compound, you need to give priority to the glide E model. Okay. So I go to the project table. Yeah, in that particular case, like if you have for a single compound, multiple outputs, multiple different poses, more negative, you will take that one, take that particular pose for a single ligand. So glide E model for a single ligand, multiple output, and for the docking score, if you have a same kind of or sorry, different kind of ligand, right? In those cases, give priority to the docking score, right? So that is the only scoring function. And the next question is that how you can differentiate or like if you go for the molecular dynamic simulation from here, which compound you're going to select? You will take all 36 compounds and do the simulation, or you will take maybe you can ask me that okay, I'll just take the top one because this is giving the the most negative one, or I can take the top two, right? So how will differentiate that one? So for that one important thing here is that I think this is a mistake that students do. If they see that, okay, I'm getting minus 11.23 means that it will be your, if you do the experiment, that will be the strongest binder among these series, right? So that is a most misconception is that more negative means that more stable. Uh, I'm talking about the docking score. So more negative means that more stable. That is not true. What you need to do is that, so minus 11, minus 10, and if you do the experiment, that will fall in the error bar. Even this up to minus 2.5 kcal, so this is in kcal per mole. So you need to go minus 11.2 to minus 2.5 plus minus 2.5. So probably I'll take this compound. So from here to here, which is around minus 9, the energy difference or the docking score is approximately minus 2.5, right? So whatever molecules that are falling in this range, probably they will have the same active in if you do the experiment, or maybe a little bit different. So to identify these compounds, you need to take some percentage of your top compounds, and that percentage is that take the cutoff value minus 2.5, and whichever molecules that are fall in that range, take all those compounds and go for some advanced method molecular dynamic simulation. Because in the experiment, probably this compound will be more active than the minus 11.2. Okay. So the importance of docking score is that if you do virtual screening means that if you have 1 lakh or 10 lakh compounds, it will try to differentiate between the active and non-actives, actives and inactives, right? So I can tell that, okay, if I take from here to here, probably this set will be active compounds. And if I go from here to here, next set of compounds, that will be inactive compounds. It will try to differentiate between the binders to the non-binders. That is a docking score. It will not tell that the ranking order, the rank order of those compound means that this will be the most active, then this one, then this one. It will not going to tell that one, docking score. It only tells that here to here, all will be active compounds, and rest probably it will be not active. Okay, so that is the idea of docking score. Never compare docking score with your any experimental affinity, IC50 or KI value. For that one, we have other tools, free energy perturbations and other things are there. And always take some cutoff value. Don't go for minus 11. I will take this one minus 10. You need to select the some top 10% of your compound for the next set of calculation. Yes, 4 plus 2.5 should be the cutoff. So that is not kind of a exact 2.5 cutoff. Okay, that is a general trend or general that people usually take 2.5 cutoff. Okay, but that depends also on your system to system, which kind of target, what kind of molecules that you are working on. It can vary up to 3.5, something like that. Okay, the best thing is that take top 10% of your compound. If you have 100 compounds, take top 10. Okay, if you have 1 lakh compounds, take top 10% of a compound and go for your next set of calculation. Yeah. So so that is the overall of the how to analyze the docking score. Kaushik, is you are here. We have some time or
Yeah, it's
yes.
4:15. I think we can wind up for the day. I don't think we need to take other topics. So we'll
Yeah.
start again at 10 tomorrow. So what are the questions?
Did I heard correctly that you are asking exclude the value for? No. So even I properly didn't understand your question. You are asking that exclude means that I will not take this compound. Is that your question, or what I am telling is that take top 10% of your docking result. So I have 36 compounds. Either you can take the minus 2.5 cutoff here, whatever molecules that are falling in that range. Or if you are doing a very large set of virtual screening, maybe 1 lakh or 10 lakh compounds, take top 10% of that one. Okay, so you need to include that compound. Yeah. Yeah, any
Yeah,
other
I think
questions?
I can clarify this with a small slide. Just 1 minute.
Yeah, so yeah, you can see that, but there's one question that hydrogen bond distance, right? So I'll just quickly show that one.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I just include one of this ligand here. I'll go to preset and apply custom default. I think probably you already know these things. And suppose I want to make between these two atoms which are making hydrogen bond. Hydrogen means that I need to calculate the distance between this nitrogen to this nitrogen, two heavy atoms, not the hydrogen. So there is an option called measure here, right? So if you particularly measure that one, it will, there's a distance option, it will come. Click the two atoms that you want to measure the distance. Yeah, I just selected the wrong one. But yeah, any two atoms that you are interested, it will show the distance there. Yeah, probably I'll select this one. So I'll measure here this oxygen and this nitrogen. Oh, again I'm selecting the. Yeah, any two atoms you want to select, just click that one, you will be able to calculate the distance. Right? Can you try that one? Who's asked this question? I will select. Yeah, right. So there is a measure tab here. You can make the distance, angle, dihedral. Yeah. There is one more question is that how to present interaction diagram for publication. Yeah. So if I go to ligand interaction diagram, right? Right. So there is an option here. Sorry, this one, right? You can save this image file and it will be saved in a PNG file. So you can directly put that in your presentation or publication. If you open the 2D interaction, this ligand interaction diagram, there is option here, this particular tab or icon, save image, and you can save that particular image. Rakesh, is there any parameter rather than distance for docking? I'm not able to understand your question. The distance, is there any other? You want to calculate any other parameter for stability or something like that? Rakesh, what is your exact question? Yeah, no, distance is not a parameter here. We are not talking about the distance here. So all the distance, it is predefined, right? So if it is falling in that particular distance, here it will make the hydrogen bonds, or it will make hydrophobic interactions, salt bridge, all those things are predefined. One thing you need to understand is that how many interactions it is making, right? Number of hydrogen bonds. If it is falling between the some cutoff region, it will automatically have that interaction. And how many types of interaction it is having, that is an important factor in the docking. And all those interaction contributes to the final docking score. So people usually report the final this docking score. Okay. Kosik, you are presenting?
Yeah, I'll just share this small slide.
Yeah.
So I presented this in the morning. I showed you all this graph here. So how do you shortlist results after docking? As Abhijit mentioned, when you're working with lakhs of molecules, it is difficult to look at the interactions for each one of them individually. So that's the reason why you take the top 10% of the docking results based on docking score, and then you go look at the complementary interactions. But typically, even after that, you'll still end up with quite a few molecules that you may want to take to wet lab. So tomorrow we'll look at a method called molecular dynamics, which can differentiate between top scoring molecules after docking. So to clarify the questions further, so docking score has a inherent error of 2 units. So all molecules in the range of -9 to -11, they're all equally good when it comes to docking scores. So how do you differentiate between which one is the best one among these things? Tomorrow we will address it in the morning session as to which methods can help us say which of these top scoring molecules out of these, which one is the best one. So we'll look into those tomorrow. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. So with this, we'll conclude today's session. Tomorrow, join by 10 o'clock sharp. We'll be having a presentation in the morning for that will cover all the different aspects of drug discovery. Even if you can't make it for the other sessions tomorrow, please come for the presentation at least. And then we'll address MD simulations, which is a very, very critical task. These days, if you want to publish a paper without a simulation for MD simulation data, it won't be accepted. So you have to have MD simulation data in your publications if you want to get them to even a small journal also, right? So please be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We'll use the same Zoom link. I'll share the recording with all of you for today's sessions later. And the cloud instances will be open throughout the night. So you can try to practice it at your home, in your hostels, anywhere. As long as you have internet available, you can even use hotspot for this. That should be sufficient for these things. So please join by 10 o'clock tomorrow. Don't be late. Yeah. There's one more question that we choose for the docking studies today. Has its binding determined as embittered body all okay? Needs to be done for a novel protein for its binding as not known. Can determine the active site for a protein? Yeah, you can do that. So there's a tool called Sitemap that can predict binding pockets. It's in the software itself. It won't be part of the workshop. But if you're interested, maybe you can. I'll share with you some instructions tomorrow evening, through which you can try to find out some tutorials that can help you do that stuff. I'll share the recording in like maybe half an hour, 1 hour from now. Yeah. Any other questions before we close? I have another meeting in 5 minutes, so please let us know right now. All right, if there are no questions, if you have any questions also, we'll address them tomorrow morning. Please join by 10 o'clock. Thank you. We're ending the meeting now. Abhijit, you'll have to end the meeting. You're the host.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, bye guys. To tomorrow exactly 10, right? We'll meet. Yeah, bye guys. Thanks.